All right, welcome in Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I am your host, Jeremy Lance, on a nice, cool Monday night. The weather is so delightful outside. I am joined tonight by hopefully two guys. We had a little technical difficulties literally as we were hitting the go live button. So hopefully Clifford will be with us when he re-emerges onto the internet. Hopefully that's here soon. But until then, oh, there he is, right there. Cliff, how we doing?
We're trying. Give me.
Cliff is with us in. Are you outside? You look like you're outside.
It's the only place I can get. It's the only place I can get quiet anymore. I have a 14-year-old who plays video games. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And it's his first week of school, so I'm not going to jump all over him.
Sure. No, I did. I actually. So this Sunday I had to hop on with Ken Brew on 700, and anytime I have to do that, anytime I have to do any kind of like radio interview or any kind of I literally go sit in my car because like sometimes I'll like literally go drive somewhere, like I'll drive to like a parking lot and just sit in my car and do that because I have 4 kids. There's no quiet space in this house. So yeah, no, I get that. I understand that. Rupesh also joining us tonight. Rupesh, how are we doing?
I can't complain. It's going well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the EPL has started, so I'm guessing
EPL started.
That. You got that whole married thing.
I got that whole married thing. It went fine. It went great. I shouldn't say fine. It went great. I found
there was no like wedding day hiccups or snafus.
There always is. There always is.
Exactly.
But we got through it. So yeah, no, right. It was great.
Good deal. And we got through a week of 2 matches for the Orange and Blue, both at home, both solid performances, but both had its issues, and obviously one of them didn't end the way we wanted it to. But it is time to jump over to our What's Hot, What's Cold, brought to you by our friends at Apollo Home. Rupesh, I'm going to start with you. What is hot?
What is hot? This new Spain jersey that I got off of you guys for winning the World Cup pool. So that's my hot this week. I mean, nice. Got the star, got the name on the back. Absolutely love it. So yeah, this would be my hot.
That's a pretty good hot. That's a pretty good hot. As Cliff falls off an actual cliff once again. We lose him. This is going to be such a great show.
Yes.
We are having technical difficulties all weekend. I'm having to produce this show as also. Normally we have our man, Josh Dye. He could not make it tonight. So I am on the 1s and 2s as well. And we all know if there's one thing I can't do, it's walk and chew gum at the same time. So this is going to be a fun adventure. I guess I will be, as we wait for Cliff, I will go with my what's hot. And that would be Celentano. I think he's gone a little under the radar as far as his performance most of the season, but really his performance since coming out of the World Cup break. He's played really well. He had a fantastic game against New York, made 7 saves, was having to stand on his head at certain points. A really strong performance by him. I think it's often something we take for granted, I think, that we have.
For sure.
A guy like Roman that has, generally speaking, been a very consistent keeper. We haven't had a whole lot of like massive snafus and problems with him. So that is my what's hot. And Cliff joins us right now. He has found shelter. Cliff, what is your what's hot?
The Brian, I always forget what his actual last name is. The Brian Schmetzer Orchestra. I really think he did a wonderful job coaching. And basically he threw us right back at us. I really felt the whole game. I looked at that possession and I thought, hey, wait a minute, that's us. We're normally 30% smash and grab, but he also did it. Went with the 4-5-1, or maybe it was a 5-4-1 with those two wide guys. And like I said in our pre-show, if you look at the stats, those two wide slots that he had were the best players on his team for the game. And Ramirez and Echenike really had their work cut out for them. So I thought he really orchestrated a good game. If I had to go with our own team, I thought the defensive combo, the umpteenth defensive combo of the season, was actually pretty good. It actually locked things down for a majority of the game. We had built a wall, it did.
Awesome. Yeah. Rupesh, what is your cold?
I think everybody in FCC land's probably saying this, but the offense the last few games has, especially that game on Saturday night, was just, where was it? We weren't scoring. It just, just the scoring has seemed to just shut down. We've lost our scoring boots. So that would be my cold.
And 3 matches in a row where you're talking about only a goal apiece for the orange and blue. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's funny because I feel like it was just like a week or so ago. I think it was Fox or maybe it was the MLS. One of their Twitter accounts was like talking about like the most vaunted a 3-headed monster in MLS, and it was Apple. It was Evander, it was Buka, and it was Denke.
Yeah,
2 of those guys are still scoring goals. One of them is not, which I think segues pretty well to you, Cliff. What is your what's cold?
Yeah, Denke for 7 games, and I mentioned it in my morning thoughts, and I've been mentioning it in my morning thoughts game to game. It's for folks that are complaining that he's not getting goals. It's really hard to do that when you're not seeing the ball, or when you're seeing the ball in the middle of, a discombobulated delivery to 4 or 5 defenders, and when you're playing like I said, when you're playing that 5-4-1 or up against that, you got to come in from the flanks. You got to have people that cross in. I don't think Datto has that creativity yet to be able to funnel that up through the middle and all that defense. So I'm still perplexed also why he didn't start. Looking at all of his goals throughout the season, they come awfully early. It's either he subs in and gets something muscular at the end, but in the beginning, he's very effective because I don't know if defenses are ready for him. He's really like unleashing a pit bull onto the TQL pitch. And so I think we should more often take advantage of that. So I'm curious as to what has happened since July when he last scored a goal. Were we shopping him? Were we being careful with him because he had that deal from, what was it? Was that Hull City?
Hull City, yeah. It was a trash deal.
So who knows? But all I know is we are not the same team we were in July.
Well, you mentioned it, and I'm gonna piggyback this for my cold. I have it as well. I marked him down for 6 games because he really barely played in one of those Leagues Cup games. So I'm gonna give him a little slack there. But yes, it's been 7 matches since he scored, and tomorrow. We'll actually, if you hear this as you're driving to work, welcome to the 1-month anniversary of the last time Denke scored a goal, which was the Hell is Real in Columbus. That is the last time he scored, July 25th. So it's not all his fault. And I think we've kind of talked about this off air a little bit. Like, he's got to get service. He's got to get the ball to him. Having the ball come in from wide is not something we're as efficient at as we have been in the past. But it's not our current thing, and that's kind of probably where he likes it. Hopefully he can find his boots again. Hopefully service can resume for him as well. But those are our what's hot, what's cold, brought to you by our friends at Apollo Home. Apollo Home is Cincinnati and Dayton's premier HVAC, plumbing, and electrical home service company. If your AC is under more pressure than a goalkeeper in a penalty shootout, Apollo Home will make the save. Fast, friendly, and reliable same-day service. Keep your home running like a champion. Give them a call, send them a text, or visit apollohome.com. All right, let's get to our match. And obviously, we have two of them to talk about. We go back to Wednesday. FC Cincinnati gets the 2-1 victory over NYCFC. Your lineup, Celentano in goal. Your back three of Robinson, Miazga, and Kyle Smith. You have Buka and Echenike on the outside as your wingbacks. A midfield of Obi, Dotto, and Evander. And you have Denke and Abomadem up top. Roop, I go to you. That lineup, I mean, a pretty strong one. We see Dotto getting back into things now that he's not suspended for trying to fight an entire team. So he's back in the fold. Your thoughts?
I mean, that's one of the stronger lineups you're going to put out there, right? The only place where you might say different is Geedy either being in where Dado was or being in for Kyle Smith. But I mean, other than that, that's a pretty solid lineup. So I wouldn't have any complaints with it.
Yeah, that third center back has been kind of the revolving door this season. Again, if only there was some sort of window of time where we could bring in somebody to maybe fill that hole. We'll see. There's clock's ticking on that one. Cliff, what did you make of the lineup when you saw it?
Well, love seeing Obi in. Buka on the wing made me nervous again because every time we push him out there, something goes wrong in the middle. But Obi was in the middle and did a serviceable job there. And Bomadem had a really good game. Miazga was, to be honest with me, a question mark because I just don't know how fit he is. And lo and behold, he's not even dressed the next game. So that's the other thing we don't know. I really wish it was like video games and there was a meter on their shoulder and you could see if they were green or yellow, what the energy meter, injury meter was. You could tell and take them out like in FIFA. But for me, that was Roman's game. Roman how many times have we seen a player come back from a long time away and be rusty? And he was just, Naperville, Illinois on top of it. It was really just great to see him have a good game like that. So, and of course, Evander had a wonderful game, but I really had trouble not picking Roman as the man of the match on that one.
No, Roman did well on that, and I believe our friends over at FOTMob did. They did pick Roman.
I think
as the man of the match.
I think the club did too, if I remember right. He was named player of the match.
Yeah. No, it was a solid match by him. Defense did relatively well. Again, Miazga gets kind of the earlier hook in this one. He comes out in the 60th minute. He was adequate for the most part. We are at that point with Miazga where the bar is lower. The bar is lower than where it has been as far as what's deemed a quality showing from him, right? I mean, he's not the guy he was 2 or 3 years ago. The wear and tear is starting to build. We saw this happen. We kind of caught the last tail end of it when we had Jeff Cameron, and you could tell towards the end, they're like, man, this guy can barely move. Like, he is struggling physically out there. And I hope that we don't have to see that with Miazga because it sucks to see that. But he is a guy that's definitely lost a step. On the whole, though, he was fine. He was fine.
I agree with you on all that, Jeremy. But to be honest, he's the second best center back we have on this team. Yeah. And if he's a step slower, it's only bad because of how much he costs against the cap. But I think he's still a starting center back in this league. He would start on probably every team at center back. He may not be your lead center back, but he'd be one of them. And so I don't. Yeah, he's a step slower for sure, but still, he's doing a good job when he's in there.
Yeah, I wonder if they do end up bringing in a center back if we see more rotation with Miazga. If he's playing maybe every other match, and we kind of see a little bit more rest.
I think we also have a schedule that's conducive to that. So I'm not talking about Nashville, but you've got DC United, Philadelphia. A couple after that, it's Montreal and Atlanta United. So DC United twice toward the end, and Philly twice toward the end, and I hesitate to say Columbus, even where they are. But those are games he can play, I think. And to Rupert's point, I don't think just his playing ability alone is the thing you're getting there. He is a director. When he's in the game, I feel better about the players knowing where to be and getting adequate help and getting back in time. So I think how would we want a player to go out? I believe this is the last year of his contract.
Right.
How do you teach them how to say goodbye, if you will? I'll borrow the line from Hamilton, but I think it's for him the right way to go. It's just, you're going to have this. I feel bad for him as an old man who's had injuries myself, as we all have. I think we get injured getting out of bed, but it's So I feel for him. I don't know how many people share that sentiment, but someday we'll all be old and we'll all be in our last year of things to do.
So this match gets going pretty quickly. FC Cincinnati gets on the board the 11th minute as kind of a bit of a scramble in the box as Danke tries to get the ball. He's got defenders on all sides of him. It ends up getting poked out to the left side of the box where you have Kenji there to fire that thing in.
Yep.
It's 1-0 to the good guys. Things are moving pretty well in this match. They looked good kind of from the onset. Solid start.
Well, you just said the thing I just said a while ago. You just said it. Kevin Danke's in the box, guys all over him. Something kind of falls apart, and Dem mops it up. So that's exactly what I mean. Is we've got to bludgeon people at the outset, and I think most of us in the stands would welcome that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was unfortunately only about 10 minutes later that NYCFC gets the reply, as they have a great ball being played back across the front of the goal from the end line. At that point, it was fairly back and forth. This game was a bit of a foreshadowing of the weekend, where there was a lot of moments that should have been and could have been. It got a bit frustrating throughout the rest of this match as you saw a team that just couldn't finish the job.
Yeah, but we see that a lot, right? Even going back to last year, there'd be a lot of games where it's like we're leaving chances out there. We either try to make an extra pass when we should have taken a shot, or take a horrible shot when we don't have room for when we should pass to a better option. This isn't anything. It's been better. I'll say that, but
sure.
Us not taking our chances or not scoring multiple goals in a game, 3-4 goals, that's nothing new. So, but yeah, this one, it was just hard pressing. I'm really worried we're going to be seeing a lot more of this as the year goes on. So,
yeah, it was, you kind of look at this outside of that moment of magic at the end of the match.
Yeah,
where Evander, nice little play there to get the ball to him. It gets played. I forget who initially plays it, and then Buka.
It was Robinson.
Well, Dado kind of
and Buka to Dado back.
And Dado kind of just taps it immediately over to Evander, who turns and fires, and that's your winner. Barring that moment of Evander magic, we're looking at two fairly similar matches this week, where just the moments were there to have and didn't happen.
Well, and the thing is, you know, I know you guys, I think it was you, Jeremy, said how great a week. I mean, Roman's your hot, right? Well, this game he proved it. He had what 7 saves? I think
Yep, 7.
six of them were in the second half with the game
Mhm.
tied. And I looked it up because I was looking to see how Roman did this week. And in that game, we should have given up like almost 2 point XG, which I know a lot of people hate. But with the shots that NYCFC got, we should have given up like over 2 goals, 2.3 goals, and Roman only gave up 1. I mean, that's great effort by him, and that's for shots that were on target. I think is the stat I looked up. So, you know, with shots on target, they should have scored 2.3 goals and only got 1. That's 100% on Roman there that he stopped those shots. So. Otherwise,
I can accept that result. They are 2 similar results and 2 similar games. I accept that with New York City. They are on the cusp of the playoffs. They've got a very dynamic lineup of people we've not really heard of or seen before, which is always dangerous to me. Some you know, some you don't, but they're very energetic, very young. I do not accept that with a Seattle Sounders team that's sitting at the bottom of the table that hasn't won since May. This was our job, and we did not do our job. This is really, I got to say, the first time in a long time that I've been disappointed in an FC Cincinnati game because I walked away thinking, what was the answer? You know, what I couldn't identify why we couldn't find the answer. And it was only until I looked at the stats and saw that 5-4-1 and saw our flanks really struggling. But again, if you're going to abandon the muscle in the middle and just rely on the flanks, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on them to serve. So I just think we had no presence up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you know, going back to this match, I feel like, again, it also happened at the weekend. Like there was decent flow in this game. It's good to see that even with some rotation, even with Buka's position changing on a daily basis, there still seemed to be some good movement, good continuity with this team. We want to see more and more of this East week. I know I was talking about this on the radio on Sunday. Like, yes, Supporters Shield is out. We're not worried about that. That's long gone. Finishing where we get a home match, you know, whatever. Okay, maybe that's your goal at this point. Get healthy, stay healthy, get better each day, hit your stride. That's all we got to do. Make the playoffs and be hitting your stride.
Right.
If we can do that, I understand, like, you can make a lot of arguments why this team isn't built to go far in the playoffs. But I've seen a lot of really mediocre teams win MLS Cup because they made runs.
I mean, that was the Seattle special, right?
Yeah.
We're just going to get in and then we're going to make a run. Seattle did that a lot where they just sneak in and then get on a run and win it.
I mean,
that's you just had to,
that
like
was
you said,
Ziggy
Jeremy,
Schmidt's thing. Like Ziggy Schmidt wouldn't even like worry until like July came around is when he was basically like, all right, let's get it going.
You had to hit your stride at the right time. Like in the year we won the Supporter Shield in 2023, by the end after we won the Shield, stuff started falling off,
and we were out of gas.
We were out of gas. Right. So this is where, like you said, get the team rolling at the right time, and you can make a run in the playoffs. So yeah, does it suck that we're inconsistent right now? Of course it does. But let's build that consistency going into the playoffs.
So as mentioned, it was Evander stealing it at the death, 91st minute winner, largely an individual effort. I mean, he had a good little service there to get the ball, but the turning, the shooting, the pinpoint accuracy, that's Evander. That's what he does. That was awesome.
With his weak foot. That was his left foot. That was his weak foot.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. Because he was coming from the right side of the box.
Yep.
Yeah. You're gonna need those. You're gonna have to rat out wins when you can. I mean, that's how this works. It's it's great we got all 3 points. But like, it was a match that could have been very frustrating had that not gone in. Because they played pretty well. I mean, I feel like it's one of the better performances we've had against NYCFC.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been really bad ones on their fake pitch, but a lot of them also been underwhelming ones at home. Or I don't know, I can think of the time where we won up like, what was it, 3-0 in the first half and gave it away by halftime.
Yeah. And gave up 2 goals in stoppage time in the first half.
I think that was the game that Brenner had like 6 goals, but only like 3 of them were onside.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. Yep.
Yeah. So a good win all around. You're just happy to get out with the 3 points, move on to the next one. And that would be as we come to Saturday at TQL, Seattle coming in town. Obviously, Seattle has to come in. That's a long flight. That's multiple time zone move. So like, yeah, I get that as a team like that, regardless of form, you can have a down performance. But regardless, it's like, that's pounce on it. You're FC Cincinnati. You get a team coming from a long flight away. That's when you have to make your hay. They're also having a terrible season. This was all set up for a very easy job, complete, light work.
I
match.
disagree, Jeremy. I disagree.
I know. I even was saying, like, early on in the match, they were already winning, and I was like, this is light work. This is going to be light work. And it ended up being nothing but.
Here's the thing, Jeremy. Seattle, yeah, they're not scoring. I mean, their 3 highest paid attackers were out injured, right? Between Jordan Morris, Pedro De La Vega,
who's always injured.
De La Vega's played 1 game this year, and Seattle pretty much announced he messed up his quad again. He's out for the year. So their DP wingers played 1 game this year. And then Jesus Ferreira, all were out injured in this game. Were the chances of them scoring low? Yes. But Seattle had the number 2 defense in goals allowed. So this was going to be they were going to park the bus and make you earn it. And if there's one thing we know with FC Cincinnati, they're not breaking a low block. We just can't do it. So, and so I didn't think this was going to be easy work. I thought it was going to be a 1-0, 2-0 kind of game. It wasn't going to be more than that because Seattle just doesn't leak goals that much. So,
that's why it was confusing to me. We did not have like that muscular disposition going up against them. We had our smaller guys and our smaller set up front. I still, you give me Anunga, give me Denki, put as much muscle in the front as possible to start, and it's a different story. I do reflect that we're 2 points down where we would have been had we won. We'd have 33 points and be in 5th place, not 7th. I would say the table is exhibiting a lot of parity, especially around the middle. Nobody's really shining except for the top 2. Nashville to me is the 26 goal differential, and of course you're going to have Miami. Who knew Lewandowski was going to have and Hugo Kuiper's going to have the years they're having? But I really think it's that. I'm pinpointing it on. There is a formula. We just have to play it.
Yeah, and let's get to the formula that was thrown out there by Pat. The lineup: Celentano in goal, Guidi, Robinson, and Shirilla as your back 3. Ender and Ramirez out, and the wingback position: Dotto, Anunga, and Evander in the midfield. And as you already pointed out, Cliff, a very different look up top, as it was Kenji and Barlow as your 2 guys up top there to go up against the low block. But they end up scoring early in this one. And that's, when you play a team that's going to sit back, that's what you have to do. You have to score early because then you're forcing them out, right? You're forcing them to actually have to come and play. And it was Evander that gets that goal in the 24th minute. It is then Seattle having to push up and actually go for it a little bit because they find themselves chasing a goal. And, it's Cincinnati ends up with 70% of the possession in this match. They end up with leading in pretty much all the other categories offensively. They had the chances. They had several shots. They had, at least one offside goal. The moments were definitely there, but they weren't able to cash it in. They let Seattle hang around, and Seattle ends up scoring late, and then they are able to just see it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's chances. We have breaks. We were talking about this before we started recording, where I noticed one play where we had, I want to say it was 3-on-2. It may have been 3-on-3. I don't remember. But we have Evander coming down the middle with the ball, and I don't know who was on the right wing flying in unguarded. And Evander took the shot. Now, like I said before, okay, it's Evander. I'll let that go. If it was any other player, I'd be losing my mind. Like, you had a guy streaking. You need to pass it over and get a better opportunity. But this is the same stuff we did last year, guys, where we just let teams hang around. Last year, it just didn't bite us in the butt as much, right? This year, it'll bite us because last year we were way overperforming our expected goals, expected goal difference. We were lucky. I would say it. Last year we were lucky, and this year we've regressed to the means. And so the luck that we were getting last year where we weren't giving up goals, we're not getting that. And we got to score multiple goals because we're going to eventually give one up. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, you had 9 shots on target in this one.
Yeah.
You had, again, leading in most of these stats, 17 total shots, 11 shots inside the box. The chances were there. The opportunity was there. I feel like it must be said, though, like, these games happen.
Yeah.
Like, even good teams are going to have those games where that just doesn't fall your way.
Right.
The keeper
plays
really well. Yeah. Like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, he really, Celentano had very little to do for most of the night. He could have pulled up a lawn chair and read a book, which really made it like the late breakdown felt like a bucket of ice poured on a sleeping camper. But it was really the goal that we first scored was motivational. It was like a bludgeoning. I think we had 2 or 3 shots. I think one of them went off the face of a defender standing in the goal.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to turn my kid away. It was getting brutal. And then of course Evan took it out and it went in. So that gives you this feeling like, hey, we're going to and we had been pretty brutal up to that point. So that's the other thing I was left wondering, where did that go? All of a sudden, we were just absolutely murderous, and we went to sleep. And
no, it was bad before that goal, guys. When I was watching the game, you got two guys at center back. I guess 3 if you want to count Robinson. I guess I will. We had 3 center backs who are known for their passing ability, right? And one thing I noticed early on in the game, nobody's making a run. They're just sitting there, and I'm like, make a damn run and give these guys somebody to pass to. And to me, it appeared, now, come on, what do I know, right? But it appeared to me like guys weren't making a run. And on that, the play that led to a goal, there's a run made, somebody feeds the ball in, and then you have the scramble. But there was a lot of times where just guys are standing, nobody's making a run. You have Guidi and Chirilla with the ball, and they have nobody to pass it to.
Right.
Or they can't pass it in a line-breaking progressive way because nobody's making a run for them to hit it. When people are making runs, there was a play where I think it was Chirilla put a ball into Barlow over the top, and Barlow got a shot off. Now, I don't remember if he scuffed it or what happened. But, these guys, these young guys, those two can make the passes. If you give them somebody to pass it to, they'll split lines. They'll get guys in behind, but we got to have people making those runs. And it wasn't happening enough, in my opinion, in that game.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think for the sake of pure just fun, we do need to do the retelling of the FC Cincinnati goal.
Oh, good
according to the Fought Mob minutes here. So you have Brian Ramirez with a shot from the center of the box. It is saved by the goalie. That ball then comes right back out. Kenji, left-footed shot. It is also saved by the goalie. Shot is then back out. Ramirez gets his second bite at the apple, and his shot is blocked by a center back on the line. I originally thought it hit him in like the head or the neck. It looked like it mainly caught shoulder.
I think
but at first I was like, that guy just got like
that's
absolutely knocked out cold. Like
no, I think it was his shoulder. It was his shoulder.
But it ended up being his shoulder. That ball comes back out, and finally it falls to the foot of Evander, who just fires it right back at that center back, but puts it over him and puts it in. And it's a missile that the center back would probably be horribly maimed had he put his head in front of that one.
Yeah, after the fourth or fifth shot, I just wondered if Seattle was like, fine, have it. We're done. This is not safe for us. Move on. They just kind of conceded. But yeah, that was just an absolute, and that's the battering ram that we could have used 2 or 3 more times. You were right about Barlow. A couple shots one was missed, but 2 were saved. He did have shots, and he is dangerous in the box, and I like that. Ramirez as well, like you said earlier, is really coming around this season, and it really, I think, supports my continued point that players getting game time minutes improve. They just do. I don't think there's a such thing as spending all your days out in Milford and just winding up on a pitch and doing spectacularly well, especially this late in the season. But Ramirez, he now has kind of the energy of a toddler who just discovered espresso. He's really kind of working. So that's why it's so frustrating. You see these individual improvements around, but we just couldn't make a concerted effort. And then the 600, I think we had like 700 passes almost, which is completely uncharacteristic for us. Most of that was, passing around the midfield back and forth trying to find someone. And you made me recall Brian Ramirez pulling a Justin Hoyt and waving his hand coming down the sideline. Whenever I see that, I really wonder if there's a strategic coached breakdown, because you don't need to throw your hand up and wave for a ball if everybody's working together, or do you? Am I off there? Is that like a tell when a player's doing that repeatedly? I got it in the USL, but in the MLS, I would think you'd have your ducks in a row and you wouldn't need to do that necessarily. Am I wrong there?
I think it's partly a personality thing. I think there's players that are always going to just want the ball. They want to be fed. They are always open, right? We've seen this in the past. The guy that is, according to them, always open, always needing the ball.
And it depends if the ball's on the other side of the pitch and you got something where the only player I've ever seen it do it a lot is Sharilla, is make that diagonal pass across the field. And we as a team don't do that. And if the ball's on the other wing and you're on your wing by yourself, then you're going to wave your hand like, hey, look, I'm over here by myself, boys. Let's get a pass over here. Now, I don't know how many players on FC Cincinnati can make that pass effectively, but, I agree with Jeremy, though. It could be a personality thing where, hey, I'm always open, right? So
obviously this match comes and goes with the team settling for a point at home against a really mediocre, subpar, not very good Seattle Sounders side, which you don't see that much of. You generally don't see a bad Seattle side, but we're seeing one currently. And you even had the bonus of everybody being hurt that would normally score a goal. And it just didn't get done. Obviously, I know from the fan base, just go online, pick your social media of choice. Not happy with the result.
Well, here's what I would say to the fan base, though. If you switched the points, would you be cool?
Yeah.
If you scored second.
If we had scored one, if we had gotten 1 from New York City and we had gotten 3 from Seattle, would you be cool? No?
No, they wouldn't.
Oh, switch it that way.
The fans wouldn't. Okay.
No, fans would. Look at it this way, guys. Everybody went into this 2-game week saying you had to win the NYCFC game because that was a 6-point game, because that's an Eastern Conference team. And
Right.
yes, we're going to rotate a lot against Seattle. And when you do that, you're taking a chance on not getting points, right? We didn't start Kevin. We didn't start Obi. Matt wasn't in the lineup at all. Gidi didn't play. Oh wait, did Gidi play that game? Somebody else was. Oh, it was Miyaga and Denke and Obi weren't in. I mean, we rotated a lot of that game, right? I mean, would I have been satisfied with a 4-point week? Probably, but like you said, Cliff, if you would have tied against the quote unquote better team there, maybe it doesn't feel as bad, because So I think that's a fair point,
and I
Cliff.
think because of the way Wednesday went, you were like, well, surely we're gonna handle business on Saturday. Like we won the harder of the 2 matches, so obviously we'll win the lesser of the 2 matches.
Well, see, but that's what have we always been known for, is playing to the level of the opposition. I mean, since Pat and Chris had been in charge, it does feel a lot of times we play to the level of the competition.
Right.
Now,
luckily, that's better than before. Before Pat and Chris, we were playing below the level of everybody.
We were playing like we were still in USL before
we were playing to the level of our former league.
Yeah, so I never going into a game where we're supposed to kill a team thinking we're going to, because it just never seems like we play like to crush them. I mean, yes, I know we destroyed Orlando earlier this year, 6-2 or whatever at home, but that's few and far between. So,
Yep. Well, that's the other team and them having it at that time. But I really feel like this was the cleanest example I could ever give of a coach making a difference on an outcome. I need to remind folks that Brian Schmetzer has been coaching soccer since 4 years before I was born, and I'm 52. So, he was with the Lake City Hawks from 70 to 80, and then he's been coaching in Seattle since 80. And so as soon as I saw the FanDuel money line, and we were so favored and Seattle was so poor, and then I read Jeff Tebbets in the chat and he said, this is a trap game, I felt like it was like the introduction to a Beethoven piece. It was like, oh, Jesus, why did I have to see all that stuff at once? And I kind of knew how things were going to go. So I chose to focus on the fact that my son was taking his girlfriend to the game. And they ended up screaming louder than I did. I had to calm them down. It was so frustrating for him. But Brian Schmetzer is really anytime he's standing on the opposite side of the pitch, you better pay attention. You better bring your A game. And this is the cleanest example of that outcome.
You can't put this result on Noonan, guys.
I wouldn't put it on Noonan.
Look, it's not a coaching issue, right? That we have a breakaway, lose the ball, it comes right back on our throat, and they score. We were on the break. I mean, we were going down to put us, it got out of the box, and we're getting ready to go, and Nuhu comes in and just destroys. I think it was Ayub, right, that had the ball and got it picked off him, and it came back to Rusnik. I mean, that's not coaching. There's nothing Pat can do about we're on a break and then, oh my God, we just turned it over. And we turned it over to where it was in our offensive third, in our defensive third, in their offensive third, as soon as the turnover happened. There's nothing coach can do about that.
Right.
And Schmetzer coaches a great defense. I mean, he didn't do jack poo to get that goal. There was nothing with his coaching that earned them that goal. What got them that goal is we made a careless turnover, and they took advantage. Good for them. I'm not going to – and I agree with you, Schmetzer's a great coach, but I don't think this game had anything to do with coaching. It had to do with we didn't finish, and we had a very disadvantaged –
well, I'll say this. I think the coaching made it depart from a potential 5-0 or 4-0 or multiple goal game, because he set the table with that back line, that low block, which we are notoriously unable to get through. So he set the table, but you're absolutely right. And I appreciate you actually like going for the personal responsibility thing, because we don't see that a lot, do we? Get a lot of blame of Pat Noonan.
Everybody, there's something in our fan base where we blame Pat Noonan for this stuff, right? We being since FCC fans. To me, there's nothing Pat. Look, people were bitching about Pat during the Atlas game. Like Pat told Evan, spill 2 damn balls right in front of the goal, right? Come on.
Right.
At some point, this is on the players. It's not on coach. Coach Noonan is not telling the players, oh, turn it over here so it comes right back down our throat. A lot of our defensive problems this year are not defenders. It's we're making careless turnovers.
Yes.
Or for a lot of the beginning of the season, we didn't have Obi to clean up those damn mistakes we were making, because we made a mistake, and it used to be Obi was the magic eraser. Obi wasn't there. When Obi's been around, when Obi came back, stuff started getting better. Matt's playing more. Stuff's getting better. But if we make careless turnovers and it just gets shoved back down our defenders' throats, there's nothing they can do.
You're absolutely right. We've had a few of those throughout the year. I remember at the beginning of the year, I think Anunga lost his seat because he gave them away a couple times. And then Data was giving them away a few times through June and July. You're absolutely right. I appreciate the personal responsibility, but I would never say that Schmetzer was scored the goals or was the outcome, but he's definitely set the table for success. I'm not also saying that Noonan did not, but you're absolutely right that there's a personal responsibility.
Here's the thing. I think anybody who's an FCC fan could tell you, if we're playing a team that's going to play a low block, we're in trouble, because we have never, maybe Lucho did it and I just don't remember. But definitely since Lucho's been gone, we can't break down a low block. Any team that pays attention will be like, just play a low block. They're not going to break it down. They have a horrible time breaking down a low block. And I think they're doing it a little bit better this year because they're not taking as many silly, way outside the box, dumb shots. What I call dumb shots. A lot of them went in last year, but at some point, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying Schmetzer's not a great coach. He is, but his team all year has been great defensively. It's been offense where they've had problems this year. Seattle had the second lowest amount of goals scored, and they gave up the second lowest amount of goals. So the game played exactly how they've been playing all year. So it isn't like Schmetzer put on some coaching clinic. His team played the way they've been playing all year. They just got fortunate that we didn't score multiple goals on them.
Well, I'm just happy that this is the one team in Cincinnati where the obvious culprit that we should all blame is the ownership.
I'm not saying that either.
All right, let's move on. We are getting a little short on time here, and we still have to preview an upcoming loss this weekend to Nashville, so we need to make sure we do that.
And
our players player of the week. I want to start with Cliff. Give me your player.
Well, somebody else took mine before I got to the sheet, but I'm going to go with Evander. And the reason I'm going to go with Evander is not just because of the goals. It's the kind of goals he made, the savior goal on Wednesday, but also I get a sense that he's stepping into the role, the captain role, really, and that's solidifying. And if you remember earlier in the season, who's going to get the armband and when? We need one. We need a focus. I don't know how much that causes problems up top with, say, that Denke-Evander relationship. I don't think so. But he's really stepped up, and you're starting to see it in things like, after the show, he comes on camera and says some things. He's really starting to take some ownership of the circumstance, and I really appreciate that almost more than the performance, because I think a lot of us, despite the way he left, appreciated Acosta's sort of fathership of TQL and the circumstances in the city and where he was, and I think we need that back. I think this fan base thrives most when there's more connection. And that is a massive shout directly at FC Cincinnati, Jeff Birding, and all of them. This fan base needs to be connected with on a regular basis by its stars. And we saw that with Lucho. I would see him at Kings Island or up at Sammy's Burgers or out and about. You see Hagelin all the time. So I think that's important. But kudos to Evander on both the performance and stepping into a more prominent leadership position.
Yeah, he was. You're right. Lucho was a man of the people and a man who always professed his love and appreciation for the city, which is why it made it all the more weird when he just immediately wanted to leave. Roop, let's go to you.
My player has to be Roman. I mean, the NYCFC game we already talked about that, 7 saves. This week he made 9 saves between the 2 games. Gave up 2 goals when he should have given up more than 3. And you can't really, like I said, you can't put the goal on him for the Seattle game. That's just a bad circumstance. And I think we're getting back to seeing Celentano that we were used to the last 4 years. I think he's coming back. So yeah, it's good to see. And let's see how it goes the rest of this year.
Maybe a bit of a nice silver lining to the League's Cup. As much as I rag on that thing for being sort of a money grab for the league and kind of a ridiculous competition, because he had that break, maybe it gave him some strength, some rest time, ability to rest up and visualize and look at Evan. I don't know. Would love to be able to ask him that question.
Well, yeah, and you're also talking about a guy who was right there on the outside looking in of getting a spot on the quote unquote plane for the U.S. World Cup. Got beat out by a guy from his own town. They took the other Naperville, Illinois keeper. Unbelievable. My player of the week, a guy who had put himself in the doghouse yet again with Pat, but was given a chance to redeem himself. And that was Dotto. He had strung together a couple good matches this week. Played well. Obviously, he is the one that makes a little tap over to Evander for the winner on Wednesday. But a kid that has shown some brilliance, but also has shown some things that go, okay, that's why Pat may not always play him a whole lot, because he's still kind of trying to grow up and learn kind of between the years. Good showing from him this week. So I want to kind of give him his flowers, if you will. Those are our Beyond Players of the Week, brought to you by our friends at Beyond Exercise. Beyond Exercise is a Cincinnati physical therapy and fitness business that helps people of all ages stay active and fit. They also work with local MLS and MLS Next Pro athletes. See how they can elevate your health and fitness at gobeyondexercise.com. Well, it is a big one coming up on Saturday as the current team in the catbird seat, Nashville SC, comes calling on the schedule there, as it'll be Cincinnati down in Nashville. That's Central Time Zone, so that'll be a 8:30 start. They have not lost since, there's that man again, July 25th. There's that date once more. They have not lost since then. Danke has not scored since then. I don't know. Kind of does the stars align?
It's like magnets.
We break both of those.
Yeah.
Roop, you seem quite concerned.
No, if we go with my theory, if we play to the level of the competition, I expect the team to play well. One thing, and I know I am the stats nerd on CST, but Nashville is sort of smoke and mirrors like we were last year, where their expected goal difference is they're 20 higher in goal difference than their expected goal difference, which to me means that they're kind of getting lucky on this stuff. But I mean, hell, right now they're on pace. I believe I heard to have 78 points. They would set the all-time record for points in a season for MLS. So they're hot. I'm hoping that my theory of that we always play to the level of the competition comes true, and that FCC catches them. But we'll see. They're with Mukhtar and Sturridge and all the guys they got down there. It's a scary offense coming at you. But maybe our defense is picking it up. So let's see what happens.
3 matches in a row. This is basically the 3 matches since League's Cup went on pause. They've won them all, including Saturday night's come from behind victory against the Columbus Crew, in which the Crew went into stoppage time with a 1-goal lead and went to the locker room a loser.
Yeah.
So,
Goodness.
listen, as much as you might have not enjoyed our match on Saturday, take solace in the fact that there was a worse outcome for a worse group of people.
I mean, imagine being called the Charlie Browns and actually having the football taken away from you by Lucy.
Yeah, that football got pulled right at the last second.
It's like all of it's there. The imagery's there. It was so sad. I was telling someone on a fan group today, I was like, I wanted to send them some sort of condolence. I felt so bad. But you know what that does provide is film. I really think if you look at the Nashville-Columbus game, if you look at the 2 DC United games, which are very, very interesting, 2-2 draws. You got to go back and see what is their formula. Orlando beat them at the end of July. So they do bleed. But it's a question of why did they bleed? Did they bleed because they were rotating for Leagues Cup? Did they have an injury? What was the deal? So then it's a question of what formula. Even Atlanta United, only losing 1-0. That those are questions. But I go back to something Pat said. You're not going to win all the games 4-0, 3-0. He said that in the post conference, and I think, to be honest with you, I kind of started adopting that. I'm like, okay, now it's going to be football scores now. But it's the truth. You should be able to score a goal and win that game. Those games might be representative of that, but I think there's plenty of formula in their history for us to look at and adopt and adapt to.
Don't take anything Nashville did during the Leagues Cup. They didn't give.
Right.
They had no care about that. They played their 2 team. They didn't. If you look at their lineup in the first game, you can tell they didn't care about that game, that stuff, right? I'm looking when I'm saying their stats and stuff. That's specifically MLS. They're winning games, but it almost feels like they're doing it by hook or crook, sort of like us last year. Last year, I think we had something like a 15 or 20 difference in XG goal difference versus actual goal difference, and you can ride that so far. Eventually, you get caught on it, and we'll see what happens. And maybe I'm putting too much stock in the behind, the numbers, but
who starts in back, guys? Do you put old man Miazga up in the center back? Got to have.
I think you at least start him.
Yeah, you need that veteran.
You go to Miazga, Robinson, and whoever's the third.
Probably Guidi. I mean, I think that's kind of in the favored group at the moment.
We've got Edmund in the chat. He's talking about Trilla, and I don't mind that. He's got lots of energy. He's got a decent long ball completion. What do you guys think about the young man in back?
I personally would start Andre ahead of Guidi, and the only reason I say that is Guidi's open to make a bad pass that gets a turnover. Sometimes you can take that in the midfield. You can't take that in the back. That's the only thing about Samuel in the back that scares me, is there's a chance of there being a bad pass. And I don't remember which game it was. I remember he did one where he passed it right to the other team, and I don't know how they didn't score, but it's like you can have a turnover every now and again in the midfield, but you can't do that in the back line. And that's where Samuel scares me, is because he can put a bad pass out.
I get the sense, we talk a lot about Samuel. He's kind of like the new Kubo. He plays everywhere. He's that Swiss Army knife guy. You get the sense that comes as a double-edged sword, because when they're on defense and they're supposed to be defending and holding the line, they still maintain some of that offensive thought of push the ball forward, get it forward. You're not in that position, so it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap this up. Let's go final thoughts here as we put a bow on this show here. Group, I'm going to start with you. Final thought, anything?
The one final thought I have is we are in a transfer window that is still open until I believe it's next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, and I know Europe closes on Tuesday, so maybe Chris is waiting until Europe closes to see who he can sneak in and get on Wednesday. But, we've heard so much talk this year about, we're not just going to sit on our hands and we're going to get some. I mean, at this point, I don't know if it's even worth it, because if you get somebody now, do they really have time to acclimate to play with this team unless they're an inside the MLS kind of transfer?
I
But
think that is the most logical one at this point.
right, if you're going with somebody inside the MLS, okay, but we still have another week. Let's see if Chris and the front office gets something done to bring somebody in.
Cliff?
Yeah, if he can hold off getting shipped off to Austin, that would be fantastic. I think 6th place, guys. I mean, we're in 6th. We would have been in 5th with the wins. I actually feel pretty good about where we are for a couple of reasons. Who would you want to play next with, say, 12 games left in the season, with a bunch of bottom dwellers, filling your schedule down there? I like Nashville here. I would rather play Nashville now than later on and get a gauge for what adjustments do we need to make? Who do we need to bring in? Maybe this really seals it, and says, yeah, our defense is the issue. We need a center back. Maybe this drives the point home. We could, I dare say, we could come away with a better result, but like you said, that's playing to the level of the opponent. I just strongly doubt that we're going to march in. I was in Nashville last Friday. They love soccer now. I think they love soccer about as much as they like country music. So I think it's a strong town, strong team, but I like where we are, because then we can make adjustments for the last third of the season based on that, and see where we come out. We're not going to be first. We're not going to make the Shield. We're going to make the playoffs. I'm certain of that. And barring some really horrible injury tragedy to a wonderful star in front or something like that. But entertaining games coming up, and in what I consider to be the best weather of Cincinnati.
That indeed, and we at least have that to look forward to, is nice weather. That is going to wrap it up for us. If you would like to support CST, Cincinnati Soccer Talk.com/support, help support independent coverage of the orange and blue. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can contact us at feedback@CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com, and the socials. We are on X, on Cincinnati Soccer Talk, and Blue Sky for all three of you on there. And are you on there,
Rapesh? I am on there.
Well, say hi to everyone over there. That's gonna do it for us. I want to thank Roop and Cliff for joining me tonight. I want to thank my daughter for waiting till the last 5 minutes of the show to try to interrupt things. And that'll do it. Hopefully next week we're talking a big upset victory in Nashville. They're crying on the pedal wagons. It's just a mess down there. And even better, maybe we're talking about an incoming player. We'll see. We'll see about it. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you. Good night, folks.
Whoa, what was the last typing?